This wolf saved an entire family from armed criminals, but the unbelievable story began 5 years earlier when John Miller made a discovery that would change everything. What you're about to hear defies everything we know about animal gratitude. It was 6 a.m. John Miller was walking across his property in Canada when he saw something that made his blood run cold. Red stains on the white snow, a trail of blood that disappeared into the dense forest. John followed the marks and found something most people would run from: a young wolf trapped in an illegal snare, agonizing in the snow. But here comes the part that will give you chills. The wolf's eyes didn't show anger or fear. They showed something John had never seen in a wild animal: a plea. John had seconds to decide. Helping could cost his life. But what he did next defied every survival instinct. John approached slowly. The wolf should have attacked, but didn't. Should have growled, but stayed quiet. It was as if he knew. This man was his only hope. With trembling hands, John freed the animal's paw from the cruel trap, and then something inexplicable happened. The wolf touched John's hand with his nose, as if thanking him. John had no idea that this decision would create a bond that would save his family years later. Back at the farm, his wife Mary panicked. "John, are you crazy? That's a predator." But the wolf, whom they started calling Shadow, did something no expert would believe. He behaved like a member of the family. Peter, 12, discovered that Shadow responded when he read aloud. Anna, 10, noticed that the wolf sang along when she played the flute. This wasn't normal. This was impossible. Shadow's most shocking behavior was yet to come. During 2 months of recovery, Shadow developed his own way of communicating with the family. He asked to go outside, asked for water, and never showed aggression. It was as if he understood he was in debt. The day John feared finally arrived. The day Shadow would disappear forever. Or would he? In spring, John opened the forest gate. Shadow said goodbye to each one, touching their hands with his nose. And then he vanished into the forest. The family cried, but they didn't know Shadow was only beginning to repay his debt. 3 years later, strange things began to happen. Footprints appeared around the house, not just from animals, but from unknown men. Tools disappeared from the barn. The farm animals behaved as if they sensed danger. Someone was watching the Miller family. John was about to discover who these intruders were, and what they wanted was worse than he imagined. During a nighttime investigation, John found a secret camp in the forest. 3 men with maps of the region and suspicious equipment. They were planning something. The conversations John overheard made his blood run cold. The house is isolated, small family. No one will hear the screams. John ran back home, but it was too late. The men were already approaching, and something he could never imagine was about to happen. It was midnight when the nightmare began. 3 men surrounded the house. John had a rifle, but it was 3 against a family with 2 children. The odds were impossible. The phone line had been cut. The cell phone had no signal. They were completely isolated. John prepared to defend his family with his life, but then he heard a sound that made his heart stop. A howl, long, melodic, and familiar. Mary held her breath. Peter ran to the window. Anna whispered with wide eyes, "It's Shadow." But it wasn't just one howl. There were many howls coming from every direction. What John saw through the window was impossible to believe, until the footprints the next morning proved it had all been real. Dozens of yellow eyes glowed in the darkness. An entire wolf pack had surrounded the property, and at the front of the group, larger and more imposing, was Shadow. He had returned with reinforcements. The intruders froze in fear. The leader shouted and waved, but the wolves didn't back down. They had a mission. What happened next had never been documented in history, until now. Shadow stood directly between the criminals and the family's house. The other wolves cut off every escape route. It was a perfect military operation. For 2 hours, the standoff continued. 3 intruders trapped by a living wall of predators. The most emotional moment was yet to come, when Shadow did something that proved animal gratitude is real. As dawn approached, the men slowly retreated into the forest, defeated and terrified. The pack had won. When the invaders disappeared, John opened the front door. Shadow approached and stopped a few feet away. 5 years, and he still remembered. Peter extended his hand like he had as a child. Shadow sniffed and allowed the touch. It was confirmation. Gratitude had survived time. Shadow had one final surprise that made the whole family cry. Beside him was a female and 2 pups. He had built his own family, but never forgot those who saved him. For 1 magical hour, 2 families, 1 human, 1 wild, shared the same space. When the sun rose, Shadow gave a farewell no one present would ever forget. With a low howl that clearly meant thank you, Shadow gathered his pack and disappeared into the forest for the last time, leaving only footprints in the earth as proof the miracle truly happened. The police found the abandoned camp. The intruders fled the region and never returned. The story spread, becoming local legend. But for the Miller family, it wasn't legend. It was pure gratitude, the most incredible part. Signs that Shadow still protects the family continue to this day. Peter became a biologist, inspired by the experience. Anna composes songs based on the howls of that night. Occasionally, a lost sheep appears safe and sound the next day. Mysterious footprints emerge after storms. It's as if the invisible protection never ended. John installed a sign that sums up this entire incredible story. Miller Sanctuary, where humans and wildlife coexist. And when he tells the story to his grandchildren, John always ends with the same words. We saved a wolf, but in truth he saved much more. He taught us that true gratitude knows no limits. This story proves that the connection between humans and animals can transcend all barriers. If this story moved you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and comment which part impacted you the most. And remember, no act of kindness is ever too small to make a difference in the world.